It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Nonge. How are you?
Hello, cool. You look so cool and so cute.
Thank you.
I like the new attitude that goes with it, like, oh.
Yeah. Anyways, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. I had my banter, but I have to banter Nima's own because I think she was supposed to be here and had to turn back. She says that we should help her talk about the impracticable use of the service lane on the Badagry Expressway. She says that they are at the mercy of terminal operators and tank drivers. She's calling on the Commissioner of Transport and Works, and she's saying that the Commissioner for Transport and Works need to work together to create other alternatives so that, you know, there can be free flow of traffic for people who have to get to work, get their kids to school. She's also saying she thinks the governor may not be aware of the problems, but this is what they're dealing with. It's so bad that she had to find a way to turn back. She had been in traffic since about 6 and had to, you know, turn back and could not make it to work because of that area. I mean, we know that she's always talking about it, but this is maybe like a new development again and stopping traffic in that area. Please.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Yeah. Hello, Ronke. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning.
All the ladies.
Excellent morning.
Anything interesting happening?
Yes, so I have this friend, sister, very close to me, who had a birthday. Remind her.
Yeah.
She likes to do the age thing.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, she works with me.
Right.
And whenever we go out, people always say, who did she say is the boss?
Easier. Oh, wow.
It was a perfect time to remind her again.
I'm
your senior.
I'm your senior.
Come to you,
On a lighter note.
I'm good. I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm looking through all the things I need to do. So I need a sales girl. I need a sales manager.
Your hair is popping, I must tell you. Like it's,
Yeah,
I'm not a color person, but this one looks good on you.
We have to touch it on black.
Yeah.
Black today, I'm like, okay, so how do I jazz up this girl?
No. You're popping.
You know, thank you.
Good.
So those people who think they qualify, you have to stay on the island. Just send me a message on my Instagram. Let's do business. Let's talk.
So the Nigerian Army had invited me. I was in Ibadan yesterday. They had a media chat. So they constantly engage broadcasters across just to engage the media, to let them know that we can actually work together and just to keep us abreast in what they're doing. It was really nice to see all the various media. Now I'm friends with media generals. You know, I'm just calling.
Now we can boldly look for trouble.
Because I have them on my WhatsApp saying, hey, Major General X, Y, Z. I'm talking to them, chat. I'm like, look at you here.
So Morayo, let me apologize in case I offend you. Forgive me now.
All right, we have to go on a break. But okay, so today is also the First Lady's birthday.
Yeah.
Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. She's currently attending the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in New York with the President. May her wish her long life, good health, and happy birthday, First Lady.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
to you.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're going to start with the nation. Planned strike, NLC, keeps federal government in suspense. Tribunal voids 165,000 NNPC votes, sacks Kano governor. Shareholders accuse AMCON of depleting Arik Air's fleet from 19 to 2. Oluremi, my wife, friend, partner, says Tinubu. Dangote refinery, we will take off with crude from NNPCL. Ondo House steps up moves to remove deputy governor, and Ogun plans trial for suspected Shagamu cultists. Okay, let me stay on the First Lady's birthday. Her husband has sent her a congratulatory message to her. According to him, he was celebrating his wife of 35 years, who has been a friend and partner. According to him, she stuck with him over the years to face the various experiences and moments that have defined their relationships and their lives and struggles. The president recalled that the First Lady had been his companion in the fight against tyranny, recalling all sacrifices she had made in the past struggles they had faced together. I remember there was a time when he was on exile and she had to hold the front and just stay on and believe and trust that, you know, he was making the right decision and choices. So indeed, 36 years is not a joke. And congratulations to the First Lady again. Happy birthday, many happy returns.
Happy birthday. So I've got news from Kano State. A lot of us, you know, are aware that 4 months after the inauguration of the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, yesterday the Election Tribunal, according to report, they say he has been sacked. The Election Tribunal in Bauchi State, however, still affirmed the Governor Bala Mohammed's victory. It said that Mohammed was properly declared winner by INEC. In Enugu State, we have Governor Peter Mba, who contested on the platform of PDP, but they're the tribunal as well. And so he's been challenged by Chijoke Edoaga of the Labour Party and would know their own fate as of today. So in continuation of what has happened in Kano State, they said the court has ordered INEC to withdraw the certificate of return that had been presented to Yusuf and issue a new certificate to Gawuna, who was the deputy governor under the former governor of Kano State, that's Abdullahi Ganduje. We have the APC chairperson has accepted it as the will of God, but NNPP has rejected the verdict, describing it as a miscarriage of justice and also vows to head for the Court of Appeal. There were reasons why the Election Tribunal thought he did not win. And so these were the reasons. They said the grounds are one, first of all, Yusuf's non-membership of the NNPP, the non-compliance with the Electoral Act and total lawful votes, invalid ballot papers used in the election. So 165,666 votes were declared invalid. And they said maybe one of the reasons a few of the reasons that could be is that some of the ballot papers may not have been signed or have the mark of INEC on it and was used. But there are situations where that happens if the election officer on ground believes that it still comes from INEC, even if the mark is not there. But obviously, the Election Tribunal feel that this was not properly marked by INEC, and so those were the votes that were marked invalid, and that's how.
Yeah. All right. Another story.
I have the major headline. They said the federal government is saying that it has no fears about a potential economic shutdown by NLC, and last Monday's meeting that they had was deadlocked. Both parties failed to see eye to eye on some of the things that the labor union had demanded. But the federal government is saying that they don't think there's any problem. They don't have fears about any of the things that Labour has put on the table, and also suggestions of the package that they have presented to the federal government. They have no fears about this. That's the Minister of Labour, Simon Lalong, was saying this. And he also had a private meeting with the Vice President Kashim at the Aso Villa. When he came out, he said they are still having talks. They are not afraid of any strike. We know that the 21-day ultimatum that was given will be ending, I think, today. So if there's any strike that's going to happen, it's going to likely happen on Friday, but they haven't heard anything from NLC. NLC hasn't given any demands to their people to come out for that strike. So we are hoping that probably the negotiations will yield fruits and the economy will not be shut down.
Okay, any story for you, Ronke, in Mission?
Yes, I have a story from japa to japada. Okay, so it's just something around education. It says educational and social systems must quit churning out products of a cultural void, casualties of a system that produces graduates who have been taught to cheat the system and applaud theft as shrewd corporate strategy. The true purpose of education must be to make minds, not social cannibals. Education must furnish us with per choice. So somebody is trying to express frustration over the increasing rate of young graduates that aspire to leave the country, and it's all around our cultural background, helping us to see that we can do better as a nation. And
all right.
Yeah.
Done?
Done, yeah.
All right. Then we move on now to The Punch. APC tackles Atiku as U.S. court grants ex-VP's requests. Lagos road collapses after downpour. Residents groan. Mohbad's wife seeks Falana's intervention. Ekiti Assembly demands justice. Strike. NLC ultimatum ends today. FG allays fear. Naira tumbles to 980 naira to the dollar. Forex shortage worsens. and misconduct. Ondo Assembly begins process to impeach Deputy Governor. Okay, which story?
Well, in Ondo State, the House of Assembly has commenced the process of removing the state deputy governor, Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, over alleged misconduct. Well, we remember that immediately the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, got back. First of all, the media aides for the deputy governor were let go. Many of them were let go. But now the State House of Assembly is also saying that there had been a petition. 9 out of 17 members had signed that, alleging some sort of misconduct and asking for him to come before them and respond to it. And also, they're looking to impeach him. And I'm saying now, we've just finished with Edo State. We're here in Ondo State. This governor-deputy governor relationship is a bit...
It's a fight of egos sometimes, you think?
Just that?
I don't know.
But in just how many months?
The man was sick, he went off, and you took over, and then there's an issue of, okay, maybe you're trying to be governor, and tussle back and forth. He's back now.
When he takes over, he's governor.
Yes, he should do the work.
But it says misuse of office.
What does that mean?
They must have gone far.
That's once.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to go and coach these people. Honestly, you need to be coached. You need to coach these people. Coaching. You need coaching.
Honestly.
Let's move on to another story. The picture story, actually, in Punch. The section of the road linking Ikotun roundabout to Ejigbo and other neighboring communities in Lagos State has collapsed. The picture is quite devastating in the Punch. The road just by the canal caved in after a downpour on Saturday, September 16th. The damage had since left motorists plying the route in fear over an imminent accident resulting from a total collapse of the section. So there's a part of it that is still left. People are worried that entire section might actually collapse. But they're hoping that the government can help to look at it and see what can be done. The road was in a better shape before the erosion from the canal started to damage it. The damage has been going on for years, according to these reports. Besides, the roads lacked proper maintenance since they were built on the canal. It also would not have got to this level if the maintenance was properly carried out. So we need government to really, really help us look at that road. The picture is horrible here. And they're thinking that the rest of it might actually collapse soon if nothing is done.
So still on the Mohbad story, the human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, said yesterday that Omowumi, wife of the deceased musician Ilerioluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad, visited him to demand justice for the late husband. And, he says that he asked, after the visit, which he, commiserated with her over the death of the husband, he had a meeting with the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Idowu, and at that meeting, he was assured that investigation has started already, and he also promised the widow that they were going to do whatever it takes to give justice, help her get justice, and also commended the peaceful protest that has been happening across states on that, saying that everybody is working hand in hand to ensure that proper investigation is done. Also in Ekiti State, the House of Assembly raised the motion as well to make sure that there's proper investigation done on the Mohbad case here, saying that there are a lot of different stories on the cause of death. We need to find out exactly what killed him, and all the people who are responsible will be held.
What's the Ekiti State connection? Is it
I think maybe it's from there.
Yeah.
And I must commend all the celebrities who have been speaking up on this. I know Yabo Ojo has been on this, and even if we look at Aramola, a few of them have really been speaking up, trying to ensure there's justice. And I'm happy that they all had a meeting with the Commissioner of Police yesterday, and maybe that's what led to their cancellation of the protest, the work they were going to have today. But I'm happy that it's ongoing, and hopefully, and Nigerians are calm. Yes, we're protesting in the right way, waiting for justice to be served. So we'll continue to follow.
Well done.
Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Let's move on now to Daily Sun. Curfew in Kano as tribunal sacks governor, fear in other states. My petition was technically knocked out, Obi tells Supreme Court. Labour alleges fresh move to sell 110 unity schools. Mohbad, Kaduna radio bans songs by Naira Marley's record label. Ondo Assembly moves to sack Deputy Governor over 300 million naira bulletproof SUV. Potential voters in Imo yet to collect 134,000 PVCs for Guba election, says INEC. And 5 trillion naira accrued into federal accounts in 6 months, says federal government. Okay, which story have you taken in Daily Sun?
And let me take the continuation of Mohbad's story. So in Kaduna State, a privately owned radio station, Invicta 98.9, has announced on its Facebook page that, this on Tuesday, first of all, it was commending, okay, so they have announced that from henceforth, all employees should stop playing all the songs produced by the Naira Marley record label. They said that in light of the current details emanating from the death of the artist, their radio station will stop giving airtime to any song by any artist from the Naira Marley record label. They said that this is because they believe, so sorry, I missed it, but it was something that they believe that okay, so they're saying that for them, entertainment industry is where talent is supported and celebrated and not turned into an evil fraternity consuming the souls of young people who want to make a positive impact in the world. And so with, everyone that's protesting, they're also lending their voice to this. And I feel that this is such a powerful and positive thing. And it shows how seriously, that Nigerians are taking this particular case, because however it is finally investigated and however it turns out, it will be a turning point for the music industry and how we treat signees.
Exactly. I think you're very absolutely correct. Okay, so the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has petitioned the Supreme Court, saying that the presidential election petition court had relied heavily on technicalities to knock out his petition against the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he had provided 51 grounds of appeal lodged against the appeal court's judgment. He also said that the tribunal, sorry, let me take that again. The tribunal actually, as I said earlier, depended heavily on technicalities, and specifically, the tribunal, he questioned they were taking decisions on issues of law that adversely affected his case and resulted in the grievous denial of his fair hearing. He also said that he contended the appeals decision on the fact that the judgment of the PEPC was against the weight of evidence adduced before the court. According to him, the various evidences by the primary witnesses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were removed, were denied, and shouldn't have been expunged as evidences in the case because on technical grounds. He argued that the evidences of the subpoenaed witnesses were not required to be filed along the petition by the combined reading of the various sections within the Constitution. Either way, he has approached the Supreme Court, and we're also waiting for Atiku's petition because both of them have agreed to go to the Supreme Court to get justice, and we'll see how that goes in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah, so organized labor under the auspices of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria are raising alarm. They raised this alarm yesterday, saying that there's this call to sell off unity schools to private individuals, and said about 20 years ago, the President Olusegun Obasanjo at the time was planning to sell about 110 federal government colleges to, private individuals, which was botched. It didn't happen. But now the call is coming up again, and they are warning everybody, saying that if you are a Nigerian who has money and you are interested in running the educational system, go and build your own schools. That in other clients, people, individuals, well-meaning individuals, civil societies, organizations will build fantastic schools, hospitals, and then donate to the government. But here we have hungry portfolio people with greedy politicians conniving to sell off government property, and that is not acceptable. So they are calling on union movements, royal fathers, religious organizations, civil society groups, parent-teacher associations, student union, leaders of thought, men and women of good conscience. Everybody needs to unite and fight against this. And, they went ahead to give the history of how the federal government colleges started. I think it was in 1966. After the...
It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic because it's just that we say governments can't do enough. They're not paying salaries.
Yes.
We can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
The problem with selling to individuals is they sell to their people. And then the private, everything can...
If I sell to my people and they're going to actually fix education, education...
in a country, we must have federal government-owned schools.
What if because
we must have
we were told that
a few of
government...
them, and you didn't allow me to give the history of how it started. It was to unite Nigerians. So they had one in the north, they had one in the southeast, they had one in the southwest, so that students from across can mingle. We are trying to integrate.
I'm not objecting.
Nigerians,
I think it's a good idea.
Even outside climes, where we know we talk about quality education, where we have private-owned schools and all of that, government still has a role to play in giving schools so that the people, the vulnerable people, will be able to, afford
I agree
some of
with
the
you.
schools.
It's not a hot topic.
Build your own
Okay,
school.
and that is how you feel. No problem. And then it's a valid view.
Yeah.
I'm also saying that is it possible that government has no business doing business?
No,
in the sense, wait now, I'll let you talk now.
Can I
Okay,
say
you know,
something?
it's not about your views, about Obiajilu's view.
No,
Go home.
No, but
Exactly.
it's a constitution issue. In fact, doctor, don't flex muscle. It won't happen. Yeah.
It's a boy, it's good to have different...
I want to quote Section 18 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which stipulates, among other things, that government shall direct its policies towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels.
That's the different ways. I'm just saying that we've had issues with our education for many years. If we keep doing the same thing, we continue to get the same results. Is it possible we should open our mind to the possibility of partnering with private sectors who actually are experts in education? How many government people really know about education? If I say, for example, you're an expert, you're an educator, and I say, no, let me sell to you. The issue is that many of us already assume and will be selling to my friend. What if I sell to an educator who actually can expand and ensure that we get quality education? There are different ways of looking at it.
I think that's
they're different. It's not our topic.
Yeah.
We spent too much time.
There's a difference between being an educator and understanding the business of school.
It's the same thing. Either way, you're absolutely correct. But I'm just saying that let us be open to options.
We have to bring this as a hot topic.
Okay, we'll make it a hot topic. Any other story in Daily Sun? Should we move on to Vanguard? Pressure on petrol, diesel prices as crude hits $97. Let's find a story we've not taken. Oshodi Apapa Expressway gridlock, commuters groan as Sanwo-Olu Port police look on. Tinubu Lagos hail Olulemi at 63. Mobile celebrities, youth fans storm Lagos, Osun Delta as protests enter day 2. And political cases taking monumental toll on judiciary. CGN laments. Okay, which story? Anybody?
The major headline.
Okay.
So, they said there are indications that pressures are mounting on the pump price of petrol as the landing cost has risen by 19.3% to 596 naira 93 kobo per litre as at yesterday, from about 500 per litre in July. And, the marketers are saying that this is because of the rise in crude oil prices in the international market, as well as the exchange rate volatility in Nigeria's foreign exchange market. And, they said, I think yesterday, the dollar was 970 to a dollar. Naira was 970 to a dollar. And the rise in crude oil prices by 7.5% to 85.89 dollar per barrel in August is what is really affecting this. Also, they mentioned that the diesel price has also risen to about 8,000 and above. These are some of the things that are, affecting this price, and we may likely have an increase in our pump price because marketers are now losing a lot of money. This was really detailed. A lot of money they are investing. So if you invest about 20, there's a way they broke it down here, 20.4 billion to import 37.5 million litres of the product, you stand the risk of losing 260 million while generating only 22 billion as sales revenue.
We need to break that down.
Do business, yes.
And lose money.
And lose money like that. So we may likely have, now, how much will we now buy the fuel?
Any other story? Go in, Tribune. Yeah, okay. Tribune. Curfew in Kano as Serena sacks governor. Reps undercover 45 million barrels sold at 45 million naira at Lagos port in 2022. U.S. court orders Chicago University to release Tinubu's academic record. Delta, court admits 69 gay wedding suspects to 500,000 naira bail each. And over 5.2 trillion naira accrued to Federation account in 6 months from FAC.
Yeah,
okay,
I took the story from Delta. We remember we had taken it to the group of gay suspects. They were supposed to be at a wedding, allegedly. So they said 69 of these gay suspects have been apprehended, as we know, and we remember they were paraded as well. And now they have been released on bail. They admitted bail with a sum of 500,000 each and 2 sureties, and their sureties have to reside within the F-Roan jurisdiction. The police really wanted to keep them in for longer, but their lawyer was able to argue that this is not a major, there's a capital offense that they had, this wasn't a capital offense, and so they were allowed bail, and then they've been let go, at least for now. But this matter is still in court. As we remember, the police was like, this is such a serious case, they're going to make sure that they fight this to the very end. So now they're out on bail. We'll see how this continues in court.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to take a follow-up story with the crude, because remember we've been accusing Ajuri about the issue of Dangote refinery starting up in time. So there was a message I got from Ajuri specifically saying that based on, and the reports are that Dangote refinery will receive its first cargo of crude oil in 2 weeks and finally produce its first refined petrol on the 30th of November 2023. Diesel and jet fuel refining are also expected to commence by next month. This is according to the Group Executive Director of the company, Mr. Devakumar Edwin, who says he's eager to receive the first batch of crude now. So indeed, according to this message from Mr. Ajuri Ngalale, Dangote refinery will resume work in the coming weeks, because we've been on this case as regards if Dangote indeed will resume this year. In fact, they told us September, was it August? Now it was September, so
August, yeah.
starting from August. Now it's moved to September. Okay, so they're saying that by November, we'll get the first.
But should we rejoice? He's still going to import crude to sell. So
but for now, at least we have our refinery. We're screaming for it.
It's not your refinery.
It is Nigeria's refinery.
How?
Because it's a Nigerian.
How?
We have a portion of it now.
Yes.
It's not fully.
It's our own.
Let's not always preempt
our country.
Let's not always preempt him.
We'll be earning foreign exchange for our country.
Let's not preempt the worst. Let us believe and trust the system. Some of us are optimists, regardless of the hair. So let us trust and not assume that when you sell school to private sector, is meaning something else.
See the one who told that you are rushing us now. We cannot take.
That is all we can take on today's front page. It's Thursday. Please don't humiliate. It's Thursday. We are registered today. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we gist. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so a story went viral over the weekend, really sad story of a young doctor. His name is Dr. Umar Michael, a medical doctor at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Luth. He died on Sunday after spending 3 days, 72 hours on call, and got back home and then went on to church. He slumped in church. So various groups have called for review of the long hours doctors have to face, especially at their work. There's a letter from the Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, at the hospital, said that doctor had been on call for 72 hours, and the association said that the deceased slumped after reaching his church about 11 a.m. His roommates, according to the story, attested to the fact that Umar Michael has barely slept in the apartment over the past week, as he was always on call the day he returns home and went to church. So they're asking for investigation, and they're also saying that the long hours doctors use must be reviewed. What are your thoughts on this? Because there are two parts of this. We're going to be having a guest from Luth to talk to us on the various hours in a short while. But while we're waiting for the guest to come on, what are your general thoughts? We hear of doctors being on call for long hours. We hear people are always on schedule. You're on 2 days, 3 days, and you're off 2 days, stuff like that. It's not today. But this young man, for whatever reason, after his call time, went home and then went on to church. What are your thoughts on this? How can we review this? And what kind of care should we begin to engage to stop this kind of unnecessary deaths? You can call us on 081-076-4176, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. Let me start with Mariam because your mom is a nurse. Your mom, I mean, so she's probably experienced being on call for days and long hours. What's your view on this, on matters like this?
Okay, just to be clear, nurses work shifts.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do remember when we were younger, she used to do like permanent nights. So it would be 7 days of just doing nights, and then she would get another 7 days off. But with the doctors, they do like call hours. So you hear 24 hours or 36 hours. I mean, 72 seems quite, because I also have cousins, younger ones who are doctors, and housemanship is grueling. We know that it's almost like, the senior doctors use them at that period, when they are meant to be there, they can go to sleep and tell them, you just continue. So we've heard about, not officially, but you hear stories like that where doctors are just on call for hours and hours, and especially the very fresh house officers. So it's sad, and so hearing this story, it does not sound far-fetched, it does not sound impossible. It's something that, we've heard about, that doctors, especially house officers, just go on and on for so many hours. And, in Nigeria, we don't really take into consideration, as long as you're awake, you should keep going. We don't take into consideration things like, I need to take some time to rest. For what? It's daylight. You're resting for what? There's some things, even our mental health, these things are just things that we're just gradually waking up to and understanding. So, and I can see a young boy like this thinking, you know what, I can do this 72 hours and still go to church. Right. I'm awake. I'm good. We do it even from school. In school, you've not slept. You're ready for exams. You give yourself this concoction of coffee and cola nuts, and just to keep yourself going, forgetting that it does have an impact on you. And then, unfortunately, in this case, this person has passed. I think there must be really, maybe officially, a schedule that a human doctor should have, that you should not put somebody's child through these hours, long hours. It makes no sense. Okay. But another reason why we hear this is they're short-staffed. So there are so many patients, so many long hours, but we don't have enough doctors to look after all the patients. So
we'll come to the issue of being short-staffed in a minute, but let me get your initial thoughts on this issue of the man slumping, the young man dying on Sunday.
Okay, so Morayo, when I hear that we have this brain drain, people are leaving the country, it's sad. But it's humiliating, extremely painful when you hear that we're losing our best hands as a result of negligence. I mean, reading this young doctor's story, so many things are running through my mind now. I'm asking myself that is it wrong to aspire to want to become someone big, go and get training from one of the best places? I mean, if you have any young doctor around you who is aspiring to go to Luth, neurosurgery unit, it seems like, hey, we're bringing out another strong Ben Carson or so. So this guy must have had many dreams, but I see this as a strong system collapse. I'm also asking myself, the Association of Resident Doctors, did they have to wait until someone died before they had to release the statement? Why did they not cry out earlier? There's so many things they've written here. The part of bullying, stressful call hours without breaks, food an issue, accommodation an issue. Is there a platform for these people to express themselves such that we don't lose young and promising Nigerians?
That's a good point, because everything that they should have actually raised this much earlier. We don't have to wait for somebody to die for us to raise these issues. But go ahead, see your thoughts.
So, first of all, my heart goes out to the young man who's just lost his life and his family. It's painful to have like a rising star just snuffed out like that. That's on one hand. And my colleagues here have highlighted, the short-staffed issue that they always have in the hospitals. There are not enough consultants, and the fact that their seniors, the other doctors would always want to use them. You are here to learn, so giving your hours and all of that. But while I was in the US, I was binging on Grey's Anatomy. They have up to about 19 seasons. I watched till 10 before we came back. And I realized that for those residents that come in, they have call sheets they have core hours. You have to clock in and clock out. Sometimes you can work for 24 hours non-stop and all of that. But once it's time for rest, their chief resident or their chief of surgery, yes, will be driving everybody home. Go home, go home, go and rest, go home. Don't go anywhere, don't go to the bar, don't go to the pub, nothing. Just go home and rest. You need to be out of here. They will be checking them out. They'll be driving them. We have cases of some of them who were workaholics, their relationships weren't working, who were sneaking just because they want to get that time. And I'm asking, what's the responsibility of their heads? How do they make sure that these people take the rest that they need? So you've given 72 hours. You have no business going to church that day. You have no business. That little time that you have, and that's also showing how we take responsibility for ourselves, how we care for ourselves, how we love ourselves. You have done 72 hours for whatever reason. It could be system failure, it could be there are not enough staff, but now you are done and you have a few hours. What do you do with that hour? Do you have to go to church at that time? Why don't you just go home and sleep? You need sleep. And you're a medical doctor who is learned. You understand the body anatomy. You understand how your body needs rest, needs food, needs all of that. You didn't prioritize your self-care. Yeah. It's a lesson to everybody.
Let me bring this angle in. Many of us are Christians here. And we go to church, and your pastor is saying that if you can spend 10 hours at work, they call you for meeting and you don't show up, or you don't come, it's easy for you to jettison church service over your work. The jettison church service, compared to your work, that they call you, if your guy calls you 7 a.m., you jump up, you go to work. But if we call you for a meeting in church, you won't show up. These are some of the statements that sometimes come across as manipulative, where somebody who is young, trying to become a church worker or something, says, you know what, I've done 72 hours, but if I don't show up, pastor will say, or I'm in charge of this department, or I must go, they must see me working because it's for God. God will, because you know how we are, we were very religious or spiritual. I believe that because I'm going to work, God will strengthen me, and God will give me the strength to do the work, even though I've done 72 hours, because it's part of the mentality we have when we feel that we must make that sacrifice for God.
Wow. Okay.
The only thing that I see, I'm sorry. The only thing is that I see differently, which is I don't want to make this about church. What if are we making about church? What if he had passed on just as he was getting into church?
Yes.
What if he had passed on after church and had gone home? And what if he had gone to a friend's house and passed on from there? The problem is that he was overworked. It's not church. It has nothing to do with where he finally ended up collapsing and passing on. Is that where there is we don't take accountability, we don't have empathy, when it comes to how we push our subordinates to take on some hours. If we look at our subordinates as also human beings and noticing these things, we would insist that they take the time off, to take time off and go and rest. This is the fact that hospitals are allowing people to overwork themselves. So, because what you are likely to hear, the hospital may say, we have a time and we let them go off after 36 hours. Some of these people will take extra time. I know that they would say that. But the thing is, where is the body that insists that if you're caught doing that, you will be in trouble? Have we created an atmosphere where we sort of encourage it? Yes, officially it's not acceptable, but we sort of encourage it and say, oh, please take up my hours. We do that. I've heard I know of my cousins who, during housemanship, they wanted to give up on their dream. This was a dream that they've had all their lives, but they were so overworked, during that period. Okay. Anyone that has gone through that would tell you the sort of things that go on there. Nothing officially, but you know what's going on. And that's where, for me, this has nothing to do with where he finally collapsed and died.
We'll come to that. I know the medical director is probably on right now, but I want to take Ronke's thoughts. I wanted to respond. Go ahead, please.
So I'm going to align closely with Miriam. I think this unfortunate incident is a case of exhaustion. It so happened that the unfortunate incidents happened in church. So he would have left the hospital and maybe gone to the field, maybe gone to his girlfriend's place, maybe gone to a hotel to chill. It could have happened anywhere. He was already in his body. The guy was tired. So I feel, any church that assumes the responsibility of, if you don't do this like a taskmaster, would not work in favor of anybody, but that's not the case here. So that's another issue for...
I hear you, but let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll dig speak further because I like to see things from different ways. And in some instances, people feel that pressure. So you may not have been judged. But it could be a girlfriend who could say, you know what, you better show. I don't care how many days, you better come, and you feel obligated. So there are different ways where we all just we're manipulated in different ways not to prioritize ourselves, which is what you said earlier. But let me go on the break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Now on the show, joining us right now is the CMD of LUTH, that's the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Professor Wasiu Adeyemo. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Thank you so much for
I wish I could get some volume. I can hardly hear you. Thank you so much. Let's start with this young man, Dr. Umar Michael, who passed on. On social media, all the reports that have been coming to us says that he was on call for 72 hours and died on Sunday. Could you tell us exactly your own version of this report that we're hearing?
So, thank you very much. I was informed of Dr. Umar's death on Sunday, late in the night, by one of his consultants. So I waited till the following day to get more information. But before I go on, we have visited the family, and the family is saddened with the event and the fact that the thing has gone viral. They wanted something privacy, and they don't want us to go into some detail. But we told them that we also have, in as much as we are not going to do that, because that is the right thing to do. We also have a responsibility as a hospital funded by taxpayers' money, and also the Minister of Health, Dr. Ali Pate, and the entire top management of Federal Minister of Health are also worried and bothered about what you see on the net. But we need to say our own side of the story. So immediately I called the head of the department and also the head of the unit. I wanted to find out particularly the issue of the 72-hour call. So I called them and they gave me the detail of what happened. Dr. Umar was on call twice this month. He was on call for the first time 7th and 8th of the month, September, and also was on call between 13th and 14th. So he was not on call on the 15th, 16th, and 17th when he died. So it is entirely not true that he was on call for 72 hours. However, how did you get to be? Some of his colleagues, they were worried and they were saddened, and they decided to just push something on the internet. The so-called letter that I saw on the internet was addressed to me. But as I'm talking to you now, I'm not seeing that letter, and I'm not sure I'm going to see that letter because when they realized that there was an error in the issue of the 72 hours, they decided not to send it. So I'm telling you that I will visit the family. The family gave us the circumstances surrounding his death. And they didn't want us to go public because even if they want us to, we can't do that as a professional. So the truth of the matter is that I was not on call for 72 hours. The last time I was on call was on the 14th, so the early morning of 16, and was not on call on the whole of 15, 16, and 17. That is the situation. It is unfortunate that the young, vibrant, hard-working guy, and have the whole world in front of him, and the untimely death is quite unfortunate.
Right. Let me get a few questions in. Let me get a few questions in for you.
Sir, can you help us confirm if he had any underlying issues? Maybe
He doesn't want to talk.
Oh, they don't want to talk about. Okay, they don't want to talk about that. Okay.
The
So
family
second
doesn't
question.
want us to talk about
Okay,
that.
that's
I'm not
fine.
going to talk about that.
All right, that's
It's
fine.
also not right for us to say that.
Okay,
I
that's
don't want to
fine.
pass any comments on that.
Okay, that's fine. So I also wanted to ask, what is the longest time a doctor has to be on call, and how do you checkmate to ensure they don't overwork their time? Yeah, overwork themselves.
Yes, the management has a responsibility, and also the consultant and the unit also have a responsibility. The unit, which is neurosurgery unit of surgery, they have a routine. All about 3 or 4 doctors that are there. They want to do calls for 2 days, and they give them a space of 4 days to rest. That is what is the policy of the unit and of the unit.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't get that. Okay, so
They have
Is
these-
the call of the unit, so the consultant one for whoever it
For
is.
4 days.
okay, all right. Any questions from
Before
you?
the end of it may be longer than 4 days, depending on the number of doctors on ground. But that is the policy of. We had a meeting with them, and we saw the
Reality of
details of the.
Professor, let me before I let you go, let me just ask you this question. I mean, why would his colleagues make such an unfounded allegation? I mean, could there be something that has led to this where they also feel overworked and they saw an opportunity to reinforce this issue from their colleague's death? I mean, why would they come up with this kind of story?
Honestly, it's my imagination. I don't know why they would
Have you?
they would have done that. Honestly,
But have you-
I'm reliably informed that they have realized that that is not the correct thing to have stated, particularly to have sent to the public space.
Okay.
Okay.
So, let me let you.
Okay, thank you, Professor. So I'd like to find out, I know that because these guys are young, they are, what's the right word now? They could go overboard in a bit. I want to learn a bit of neurosurgery. I want to learn family medicine. Is there any form of counseling that you guys have with them? Is there a platform where they can express themselves if they're going through stuff beyond the routines of the work?
Yes. I'm very much aware that all the departments, there are processes and procedures. And if you think that you have a complaint, we have many layers of reporting from the unit, from the consultant to the unit head, to the head of department, and to the CMAC of the hospital, then finally the chief medical director. They know. We gave them orientation when they came in, and they know that. Because we know that it's more like a check and balance kind of a thing. Because don't forget that all of us that we work in public space, all of us are human beings with different attitude and whatever. So the question is that they know, and we told them, we had orientation with them when they came in, and we told them, if you have any complaint, tell your consultant, senior registrar, consultant, unit head, head of department, CMAC of the hospital. Then, if we don't get any positive response, then the chief medical director.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, could we just go back to the question you answered earlier, Morayo asked, and you talked about the young, his colleagues that may have put out a false information. I would just like to know what will happen now. Is there going to be like a proper investigation to find out why they made such allegations? And
Definitely. The ministry has instructed us to do proper investigation.
Good. And if there are reasons for them to have said that, maybe not particularly about this young man who has sadly passed away, but just the condition of their work, would this, I'm just afraid that young doctors may be punished or used, for daring to speak out on something as sensitive as this. I'm just wondering what the steps would be.
I don't think they need to have any fear of being punished.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that if we are going to make our system better, we have to report.
Okay.
We need to report. We need to encourage them to say, if you see something, say something.
All right.
But now that this has happened, it will be irresponsible of us not to go into the depth of the matter. And that is what we are going to do. That is what the Ministry of Health has instructed us to do. That is what the Federal Minister of Health and Social Welfare has instructed me to do, and we are going to do that.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me let you go at this time. Professor Adeyemo, he's the Chief Medical Director of Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
So now we have it from there on, and that's the official. The official stand is that the young man was on call on the 13th and the 14th. He wasn't on call on the 15th, the 16th, and unfortunately he died on the 17th.
Yeah.
And they don't, so you can't hold them responsible that his friends had come up with this false story and put this letter out there. Unfortunately, he didn't even get the letter. But it seems like when they already knew that the circumstances around his death did not involve 72 hours of work, maybe they withdrew the letter. But that's not the case, and it's important that the cable news and other blogs and who carried it should retract it and do it properly, because it's not about just getting trending and it's also about getting the right information. So now that we have the information from the medical directors, it's important that they also do another rejoinder to say this is exactly what happened. And
we should also wait to hear about the investigation, because I feel this would open up a lot of issues that are underlying.
Exactly, because any routine and scheduling and all that for medical.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so for also the doctors that are still alive and working, they must prioritize their health.
Yeah.
They must check themselves. They must rest when they need to rest. And one of the reasons we highlighted, or I highlighted the church, was because it happened in the church. If it had happened in his girlfriend's house, I will personally hold the girlfriend responsible. He should be sleeping. If it had happened in the pub, you know, wherever you find yourself, if you need to rest, please take that time and rest. And also do regular checks. You are working, the kind of work you're doing, most times they are standing, they are moving, you know, it's a lot, it's intense. You must prioritize yourself.
And we must have a system that allows for doctors to take rest without repercussions.
Let me take this call. I have to wrap up, but I have a call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, it's so sad to hear this kind of death sudden of a young background promising medic. You know, from what the CMD said, it's not really clear. Because I don't know a system that will allow a person to work above 24 hours. He said he worked on 14th and on 15th. 14th to 15th cannot be less than 24 hours. 24 hours is a whole lot for a human being to work.
Work like that.
Well, that is on that. For the issue of, you know, we have a practice in this part of the world, especially when it comes to the issue of rest. And if it comes to the weekend and you're supposed to go to church, you go to church, if you look at it, if you do not go to church, you are committing the biggest kind of sin. Let us find time to rest, because our system is not wired to work without rest. Even engines are supposed to rest after certain working hours. And again, lastly, please, I want to say, in church, most of the churches today, when you go to the church has now turned to like a disco hall or even maybe a club. The kind of sound systems we find in most churches today is just too much. You come back from church with headache. So I think we need to look at this thing holistically.
Right. Thank you very much, Amos. So, working 13 to 14, really across the world, doctors work like that. They run it throughout hours. It's 2 days on, 2 days off, like that. So it's not
sometimes it's not peculiar. In the middle of surgery, and it takes that long to help a patient. So
it's kind of, but the most important thing is that they're allowed to rest. The issue of the church angle, which is the angle I was trying to look at it from, because Miriam said we shouldn't make it a church issue, which is absolutely not. But the reality is, there are people who feel that if they don't go on that Sunday, they are going to get in trouble. I know I've been there. I've been a worker, and I even said that the other time when Pastor Bola was here from the US. I told her that when I'm coming from the club, I would change in the car, because Pastor Matal was not here, that he did not show up at 7:30, at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Are you okay? So in the car from the club, I've been dancing all night.
Yeah.
Clubbing at 4 a.m. or driving all the way.
So if we collapse in church, who would you blame? Would you blame the church or the fact that you knew you were meant to be in church at a certain time? I did not take the time to
so
rest.
plus me that did not take rest, plus the pastor that demanded I show up. All of us, we all got to join. You know, so that's the reality we are with. But let me take this call before we wrap up. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from UK.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I heard what the director of the note has said, actually. But I want to people to look at it in this way. Now, the professor said there is a format of how many hours that the doctors have to work per week. That is the formal report that was given. There is always an informal side of it, that if there are no doctors on ground, they would have to force all these housemaids house doctors to work compulsorily, and if they don't do that, they will have issues at the end of the day. It happens to me too when I was in Nigeria. Though I'm not a doctor, but I work with an institution whereby we have to work on our schedule, on the letter that was given when you are being employed is 9 to 5. But there is always a side of it that if you don't do some overtime hours, you will have issues at the end of the day. Maybe during your promotion, they will wait for you there. Or when you need something, they will not give it to you. So with all these things, that is where the problem of the system really is. Not really the former side of it that the professor was actually talking about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I love his point of view. Very, very typical. So unless we get that informal part, I mean, the story still remains a bit unclear. But Morayo, judging from your analogy, I think the church is more of the victim. I'm not trying to make this a church wala, but I think the church is more of the victim, because the person that goes to club will club all night and go to church and anything can happen there. The person that goes to work will work. I know. Okay, so because I'm an accountant, I have a number of friends who are auditors. They'll be coming from me now. They've been there for 3 weeks, so they will come straight to church. I think the church should start to say, please, when you're coming in, make sure you're coming from home and you're rested. Don't bring your stress here.
It's not come and blame us. Calling us out in social media because of your problem.
The church is a victim now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. Any final thoughts? Okay, I have a call. Ngozi, I believe. Fire. Good morning. Calls are coming in now. Hello, Ngozi. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm calling.
Yay! Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from here.
From where?
Hello?
Go ahead. You're live. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Hello?
Go on.
Oh, yikes. I'm so sorry. We lost Ngozi. I do apologize for that. I think that's all we can take on this segment. May the soul of Dr. Michael Omar rest in peace. It's really sad that he had to die. And let's give the family the time to some privacy on this matter. To grieve for their loss. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. For those of you wondering, on Thursdays we discuss family lifestyle issues. So it's our gisting day. We talk about what's hot on social media. Another very interesting topic that we saw was from a post by @Toria Atkins _Atkins. She said that there is a married men pandemic in Lagos. Those who have sent their spouses abroad and won't allow single women breathe in peace. The government needs to step in at this point. I go write petition to Alawusa. So, you see, as I said, this japa season, there's a japa going on right now. Everybody's your pride that my wife lives in Canada, my wife lives in America, my wife lives in London. You know, that's what men used to brag.
It's even a toasting line.
Yes, you know, my family's abroad. Yeah. So that's in line now, my family's abroad. Now, the circumstances surrounding, not circumstances, the fact that your family is abroad, there's a possibility that a lot of men here are obviously trying to, I was asking that today on the call, he was telling me story. How are they getting it down? And also, the madam in the abroad, are you assuming that madam is like your mommy, that will stay put and nothing will happen? That madam is this modern madam that is looking, modern madam that is looking for satisfaction somehow. Yeah. So she in the abroad also might be saying, I have long hours. I was seeing some comments saying that.
It's more expensive there.
How is it expensive?
I don't know how it works.
Let me tell you why it's not expensive. Because, you see, you might not cheat on your husband with a Nigerian. It's difficult to find a good Nigerian.
Okay.
You find one guy who just want, hey, Jerome, JC, what's up, man? Hey, how far? You and Jerome are now cool people. Yeah. He's coming to take out the trash. He's easier. He's easier. Yeah, because he's an American. He's not a Nigerian. Your husband won't smell. You wouldn't think, because if he was a Nigerian, it's easy to get back to Nigeria. We are cheating. But once you're cheating an American, who gonna know? He is Jerome. He's the trash guy. He's the handyman. He came around. He's a plumber. God bless you.
And
He
they
came.
pay good money.
Yes, and they will do you well. Compared to the Nigerian. Okay. Oh my God.
He's a yikes.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this man? On this person?
So I think that this man is not a good man. One, because he's not telling us the truth. He's making it seem like it's the married men that are going around looking for these single girls. There are a crop of single girls who target married men because they know that their needs financially will be met. Most of the girls we see these days are all out for what they can get, security. Even those that are doing business, even those that have good jobs, they still want what they can get from the men. So they position themselves, and in their head, okay, the wife is not even here, so I can run the show, I can handle him, I can be in his place, and he's not going to be hiding and rushing or hiding to pick calls, and we have enough time to plan. So if it's 7 hours ahead of time, you know that by the time she's sleeping, he's awake, when he's awake, he's sleeping, you can do what you need to do. So it's, for me, I see more of the women who would prefer, they will even tell you, I prefer to date married men because they don't stress me. All these young boys will come and be discussing, sharing bill, doing this, doing that. But you see these married men, just tell them what I need and they give to me. So let him say it well. It's the singles that should let the married men breathe. Okay. Because some of them, have them as targets.
No, that angle, we've discussed it several times. It's an angle that with the usual angle. Let's not go to the usual suspecting angle. Let's go to the new angle of these married men looking for how to be okay and how their wives too are looking for how to be okay in their abroad.
Because someone will ask you, the women that are targeting the men, did they carry gun? Did they put a gun to his head? Did they tie his hands and legs and say, you're in trouble today? No, you made a decision. So, you know what? I find this interesting. The part I find interesting is the petition he wants to write. Imagine we call in Governor Sanwo-Olu and say this is a serious matter in Lagos.
Yes.
Families are, are going, disintegrating because, these married men will not let young single girls breathe. What sort of conversation would we be having? Like, what would the governor do for us? What would the State House of Assembly, what would they...
Stakeholders.
Yes. So the way I've seen in Nigeria, they'll start talking about polygamy. They'll say, okay, it's okay for a Nigerian man to have a abroad wife and a Nigerian wife. So that it's better to have polygamy to have adultery. Those are the sort of conversations you will hear from Alausa and those sort of places, I'm just saying. But the truth is, this is a conversation we truly need to ask ourselves when we're making these decisions. Every time we talk about japa, we say there are so many other costs. It's not just about going there. What are the different other things that you're letting go because of this? And sometimes when we bring out this intimacy, everybody's like, no, what is there? I can hold myself. But the truth is that intimacy is such an important ingredient in a marriage or any relationship. And if it is missing,
No, Miriam, thank you. I'll come to you in a second. You're very right, and I've always said this before. When a young woman gets married, 25, maybe early 30s, when she enters that marriage, she's in that mode of, I'm now a Mrs. XYZ, raising her kids, getting a job, doing her stuff. Her sex drive is not really high. When she starts hitting 40, when at the moment you've jackpot, they've now jackpot, maybe your kids are now 5, 6 years old, 10 years old, your wife is now maybe 39. You now jackpot her to Canada. She's in her 40, 45, 45s, 46, and she's still in the jackpot. You think she's still going to be Sister Mary that you married in 25, 20, like
the hormones have changed.
The hormones have changed. She will see Jerome and do Jerome because her body is different, and that's the reality Nigerian men have refused to understand and accept. The woman you married and you sent away at the age of 35 is not the same woman at the age of 42 or 40 upwards. It's different. Let me come to you, Ruke. Ruke is like, wait, what's going on here?
You have Jerome every...
I have Jerome. Is that what Jerome?
Okay, so first, I think the person who made the post is female. I think she's a miss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No wonder the perspective.
So my opinion, I've often wondered, when this japa thing started 2020, 2019, I would just hear that the men have taken their families there and they're back to Nigeria. They will go, you hear the met in clubs, I just saw that this guy is around. They won't tell you anything, no. They will sharp put their families there and come back. And we wonder that, hey, is it like Nigeria is for the strong? You know. So I feel like it affects everybody. This Morayo has scattered my brain.
Sorry.
It affects everybody.
So I like the fact that Morayo has come back where I've always been. Morayo on this table has told us many times that, this thing you are talking about is not true. It doesn't mean anything. Now she don't hit.
Oh, I don't hit them.
Her body is not telling her something different.
It's different.
Here. But, so the thing is...
Hello, please allow me to grow naturally.
Breathe, yes.
Allow me to breathe.
We like the way your blows on me. So the thing is, the conversation you highlighted rightly, Miriam, is, or Morayo, men are not ready to have that conversation.
No, lying.
They will always tell you a man is polygamous in nature. A man, I find that very funny because it's a human being that is actually polygamous in nature. And one of the reasons why it seemed like the men had a leeway was because they were excused for their bad behavior. Society supported them. Society made it a man's world. You can do anything. As long as you are the man, you are the man. Society shamed the women. And so the women found other ways to do their thing quietly with manipulation, secrecy. Back from olden days, our great-grandmothers had children from different people. They mixed children. How did you think that happened? It was this Jerome case. Because they have to find a Jerome.
Jerome syndrome. It's a syndrome. Let me pause you. Have a call. Prophet Kehinde.
I don't like it. Better say Nigeria.
Kehinde, Pastor, no, I think it's Prophet Kehinde. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Morayo, you are too wrong.
Too wrong. I'm too raw or too wrong?
I like a lovely discussion.
Okay, sir.
You see, what I really know is... Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
What I really know is the life is more than the way we look it or the way we see it.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, yes.
I've been in UK for 3 years before I came back to Nigeria. You know, I believe that the women that outside, they need a man too. Are you hearing me?
Very clearly. Go ahead.
So when you can't shift the nation, we are just lying, deceiving each other in a way. Let us go to the Bible. How many wives did our father Abraham, how many wives he married? 3 wives. Solomon, I believe I am the descendant of Solomon. Solomon comes from polygamous home.
You're the concubine.
Is that clear? It's not a condemned child. Did you know that? Go to your Bible. So now, Morayo, I really like you. You are too wrong.
Please, oh. My job is to stir up conversations on Prophet Kehinde. Thank you very much. Let me come to you. Okay.
Prophet Kehinde wants to scatter the table that has broken halfway. Okay, so I feel like beyond this decision, one time Pastor Ibiyome said it and it sounded very funny. I just saw a 20 seconds clips on my way to work and I kept laughing where he said, you better call yourselves to order. Where you are here, your wife is there.
Yeah.
That cold, so you are here alone and you say, we want the children to grow, want good. Like, you better call yourselves to order if you care about the marriage. So distance is a major cause of breakups in marriage.
And Ronke, it's because we always trivialize this issue of intimacy. Make it look as if it's a man thing. It is the man that needs it, not the woman. Forgetting that the woman who has also moved out, who is far away from you, will have those needs met somehow. There are people who are in their homes. They don't, it's not as if they want to cheat. They don't want to, but unfortunately, the biological demands requires that they get fulfilled. They get certain things get fulfilled. So it's biological. I'm trying to speak. Allow me to focus. Make it professional. Jeromically speaking.
No, you know what's funny also is that I think this conversation where men are even accepting that women may feel the same way is a new acceptance. Nigerian men, I don't know who told them in the before, believe very strongly that their women don't have feelings, don't want anything else. To do with anybody. She's married, she's at home, she's fine. You hear people, they'll say, no, my wife can never do that. My wife is always in church, she just she's with the children. Then after the children, she's in church. After the church, she's back to the children. She can never.
Miriam, thank you for that, because the people that do it most are the Sister Marys. You know why? Because they've been so pious. Like in Nigeria, the whole system allows you to be pious. Now you go abroad where you are emancipated. You find that the pastor's wife is also wearing trousers, and and you're talking to her, you're speaking, you're driving, you're going out, you're doing stuff, and Sister Mary now becomes Marilyn, whatever her name is. She's not Marilyn, and she's now doing red hair, wearing shorts. She's no more Sister Mary.
Yeah.
She's now a bona fide member of the church who is actually very exposed. So she now realized, there are feelings out there, that I have these things are natural. So it's those ones that you think cannot do. They are the ones doing the most.
Yeah.
So men must
Yes, I was going. Thank you, BC. Thank you, BC. Thank you, BC.
The pious ones are no. The pious ones are here. Pious.
Now you catch heavy thief. Relax.
No.
The pious ones here, they have brother John.
No, it's not possible. It's difficult in Nigeria.
No, Morayo. Zero cannot happen in Nigeria. But there could be jobs.
Let's go get.
You think it's hard because I told you from the beginning, women have to learn how to use their other powers.
It's difficult in Nigeria because the driver will find you out, the house girl will find you out.
Manipulation is key to what women use. Cunningness is what they use. So you can see a woman who is in that space, very pious looking, having something for 15 years and nobody knows.
Okay, so it's odd. I want to agree with BC, it's odd, but it does happen.
It happens.
It does happen. And I think this is a call for the men who do not allow the single girls breathe. To really sit down and say, what's happening with my wife? That's what we have done this morning. What is happening? This girl I'm going after, my wife is somewhere there waiting for me.
Hey, God bless Runke. I like what Runke took us. So even aside from the ones that are jackpot, let's leave them for a second. But there are some, even in Nigeria, your wives are like strangers in your own houses. You are there going with the single girls, and the woman is there. You think, oh, she's home with Yasikira and everything. Forgetting that Yasikira too has Baba Suraju.
So let me have breeze.
But the point, I think we have to wrap up very soon. But let's take a few comments on social media. Go ahead, you want to finish?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. You put me in a very tight corner. But really, everybody should just go and rethink their marital values. Beyond intimacy, you've got to ask yourself, is this supposed to last? And if it's going to last, how do I nurture it to go for long? And distance, most times, once again, the growth of the marriage.
And there's a part of it. I mean, I don't want to just trivialize or laugh about it so much. There are people, especially religious people, who feel that my wife is a minister. She's not into stuff like that. It's not a big deal for her. I focus on the ministry and the prayers and everything. So you see her, but you need to have this conversation. And I think that's why I like to watch Pastor Okonkwo and his wife, Mildred. Yes, Mildred. They're very real and true. You need to have a conversation with your spouse in this area, because if biology is saying that a woman's body changes at this phase, and your wife is there acting all pious at this age, you should be asking her, and during that period, she seems so straight and nothing is happening. Have a conversation with your spouse. Be sure that she's really Sister Mary and she's still the Sister Mary you married. Because the truth is that there are some people that say that they are spirit-filled, and the truth is that the spirit is not filled in any way. So let us be sure. I'm not saying that they're not people, because I don't want to believe someone like I have Mamujios. I have respected women in church who I respect, who I know that they are totally committed and 100% to God. Definitely there are those people. But there are some people who fake it. So let the spouses come together, have proper conversations to be sure that we are okay.
It's not only newlyweds that need that conversation. Even people who have been, and I like the way you put it, a lot of times for the women, you're so distracted, or is it you're focused on raising the children, and then you get to the point where things are now relaxing. And then you're finding yourself.
The kids have traveled.
Denim skirts with some gold belts.
My kids are still around. They're not going anywhere.
No, but you know what I mean? You're not waking up every 2 hours breastfeeding a child. Your body is back. You're feeling yourself, and then Mr. may have forgotten that side of you because he's used to the mommy. You have been doing mommy, so now is the time to have that conversation. Like, oh, okay, see where we are now. We're now in a different stage. How can I be of assistance?
So, Morayo, one fundamental thing you said today, and I guess is a wake-up call for both the men and the women, is that this intimacy ideologies change. So when you just get married to your wife, like Miriam said, it's the usual. But anybody that is above 40 should go home today. If your wife is above 40, go and sit down with your wife and ask her, how is it doing you?
Yeah.
What can we do about it? Let's talk about about this again. Now I've heard that I could have been wrong. Don't assume that, hey, she's in my house and nothing can happen. This Nigeria, I'm helping you. I'm helping you.
Sorry.
If anybody should, Nigeria will not respect you. Society will not respect you.
Sorry. Women have moved past that stage.
And then we now have these Gen Z boys that sort of, I don't know what is with them. They like the older women. So we now have competition outside.
Hey.
No, it's just good to put it out there.
Yeah, very true. Because they are the ones.
Competition with chiseled muscles.
They are the gym. What they call those gym people? What they call them? What they call those gym guys?
Gym
Trainers, gym instructors. They are the ones helping with your online. Your wife says she has somebody who's helping her with her online story. The guy, that young boy, her social media page. Sorry. She's helping you.
You already have
logistics.
Growing, something's already dropping because they will always assume it's the women.
Yeah,
the men too.
You wake up, your wife
I
just.
don't know, the Gen Z, they're just very attracted to the older woman's wisdom. You know that wisdom, the way you carry yourself. They don't.
So you are a man, you have pot belly, you are probably a politician. Your wife has red hair, she's doing makeup, going for spa, doing her nails, and you're not asking what's going on. Stay down there. The Lord is your muscle. That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.